I would like to go on now and talk about how to know whether to make th or v. So let me talk about that. How do we know whether the TH in a word is pronounced with the voiceless th sound or the voiced v sound? Well, of course we don't always know, but we can make some good guesses. And I'm going to try to give you some tips on how to make good guesses. First of all, most words with TH in them are pronounced with the voiceless TH sound. Okay, most words are. But of course there are many that are pronounced with the voiced sound. So here are some examples of words which are pronounced with the voiceless sound. So each of these words, with one exception, each of these words is pronounced with th. If we look at them, I have written some words here in this column that are nouns. I have written some verbs in this column, some adjectives in this column, some adverbs in this column, and some prepositions in this column. Well, these columns up here, these first four columns, are sometimes called content words. They're called content words because the meaning of each of these words has a very clear meaning. So the content is usually very clear. I know what a theater is. I know what thick means. The meaning is usually pretty clear for nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Not always, but very often. So these words are called content words. Content words usually have the th pronunciation. Now, these words here, prepositions, are not considered content words. The meaning is not always really clear. But that's one clue, okay? If a word is a content word, if it has a very clear meaning, then it is very likely pronounced with the voiceless TH sound, the th sound. Let me pronounce these for you, okay? Oh, by the way, the part of speech of a word can change. A word can be used in different ways. So just because I have these three words in the verb column does not mean that they're always verbs. For example, the word throw can also be a noun, okay? The word thumb can also be a verb. So these parts of speech are not the only parts of speech that these words can be in. I just chose to put them in these categories, okay? All right, let me pronounce these now for you, and listen for the voiceless TH, please. Theater, thing, thumb, think, throw, thick, thin, thoughtful, thankfully, thoroughly, thoughtfully, through, throughout. Okay, so those all have the voiceless TH. Here is one exception. This is the word time. It's a spice. It is pronounced with the t sound. It is not pronounced with f. All right, let's move on. Here are some words with TH at the beginning of the word where the TH makes the voiced TH sound. Notice that these words are not content words. They don't have a clear meaning in the same way that the previous words I showed you have. For example, I don't know what the word the means. It doesn't have a clear meaning. Or the word than. It does not have a clear meaning for me. These words are often called function words. They have a functional meaning. They have a grammatical meaning in our sentences, but they don't usually have a clear content meaning. These words are very common. Notice that many of them are pronouns. For example, the word they is a pronoun, but there are no nouns or verbs here. Some of these words can be used as adjectives or adverbs, but as I said, there are no nouns or verbs. Let me pronounce these words for you, and please listen for the voiced v sound. The, though, than, then, there, that, those, this, these, they, their, theirs, them, themselves. So another tip to help you recognize whether you should pronounce the voiceless f sound or the voiced th sound is to try to determine whether the word is a function word. If it's one of these function words, then the sound is th. Let's move on and look at some TH sounds in the middle of words. TH in the middle of words is usually pronounced with the voiceless sound th. And here are 3 examples. Birthday, ethical, method. In each of these 3 words, and other words as well, the TH is pronounced th. However, if TH occurs in the middle of the word as part of the string THER, then it is usually pronounced with the voiced sound V. And here are some examples. We have another, mother, father, feather, weather, either, northern, together. So in each of these words, TH is in the middle of the word, but it's part of the string of letters THER, and the THER is pronounced with the voiced sound, and it's ther. Okay? Another. Notice I'm talking about the TH in the middle of a word. If this string of letters THER occurs at the beginning of a word, such as in this word, therapy, then the TH is usually pronounced with the voiceless sound. If we look at this, therapy is a content word, and the TH is at the beginning of the word. Here, I'm talking about TH in the middle of the word, and the string of letters THER usually occurs at the very end. Not always. We have the word northern, but very often THER is at the end of the word. Again, in that case, the TH is voiced. It's pronounced V. Okay? There are some exceptions, of course. Here is one exception. This is the word panther. In this word, the TH is the voiceless TH. Let's move on and look at some words where TH occurs at the end of the word. When TH occurs at the end of a word, it is almost always pronounced with the voiceless sound. Here are some examples. This is birth, death, bath, breath, health, wealth, 15th, 100th. Notice that these last 2 are numbers. When we add the letters TH to the end of a number, that TH is always pronounced with the voiceless sound. So in addition to 15th and 100th. I could have 10th or 12th or 16th. The TH is always voiceless. Also, when I add the letter Y to some of these words, for example, I can add the letter Y to the word health. Health is a noun. When I add a Y, it becomes an adjective. Healthy, or I'll do it to wealth. Wealthy, the TH is still the voiceless TH sound. It has the same sound. So this is pronounced healthy, and this is wealthy. The TH remains the voiceless TH sound. However, there's an exception. This is the exception. This word is worth. The TH is the voiceless TH. But when I add a Y to this word, the TH changes and it becomes voiced. So this is worthy. Worth, worthy. But usually when we add a Y, the TH remains voiceless. If I add an E to some of these words, for example, this word bath, it's a noun. If I add an E to this word, it becomes a verb and the TH changes. It becomes bathe. The vowel also changed, but I'm concerned about the TH right now. This is the word breath. It's a noun. If I add an E to this word, it becomes breathe, and the TH changes. So, with these two now, the TH is now the voiced TH. As a noun, bath, it's voiceless. As a verb, bathe, it's voiced. This one is a noun, breath, it's voiceless. With the E as a verb, it's voiced, breathe. And we have several other words like that too. So, TH at the end of words is usually the voiceless TH. However, if the word ends in THE, that E is silent and the TH is voiced. To conclude this section, I'd like to say that the letters TH are usually pronounced with the voiceless sound in most words. However, those letters can also be pronounced with the voiced sound. I have tried to summarize here on the board for you some tips that can help us decide whether to pronounce the TH as or as TH, when TH occurs at the beginning of a word, it is usually pronounced with the voiceless sound for content words. Content words are words that usually have a very clear meaning. They are often nouns, verbs, adjectives, or adverbs. And here are 3 examples. Think, throw, and thumb. However, TH at the beginning of words can also be pronounced with the voiced sound, and this usually occurs in function words. Function words are words that often have an unclear meaning. They may be pronouns, or they can also be adjectives and adverbs also, but the meanings of the words are usually not very clear to us. Here are some examples. This, that, there, and then. TH in the middle of a word is usually pronounced with the voiceless sound in most words. I have given you 2 examples here, birthday and ethical. However, if the TH in the middle of a word is part of the string of letters THER, then the TH is usually pronounced with the voiced sound Here are some examples. Mother and father. TH at the end of words is usually pronounced with the voiceless sound for most words. And here are two examples: bath and breath. However, if that TH is followed by E, so we have the string of letters THE at the end of words, then the TH is pronounced with the voiced sound. Here are two examples: bathe and breathe. I hope that these tips have been helpful to help you determine which TH sound to pronounce. Let's move on to the next section. I'd like to give you some examples now of words containing the and sounds. Let's practice pronouncing some words now with the voiceless TH sound. Some of these words we have already seen, and some of them are new. The words in this column have TH at the beginning of the word. The words in this column have TH in the middle of the word. And the words in this column have TH at the end of the word. Please repeat these words after me. Think, thick, thing, think, three, through, throw, thumb, Thursday. All right? A couple of comments here. We do not pronounce the GH in this word, so this is through. And we do not pronounce the B in this word, so this is thumb. Let's move on to the middle column. Please repeat these words after me. Anything, athlete, author, bathroom, birthday, healthy, method, nothing, wealthy. All right? Did you do okay? Let's move on. Please repeat these words after me. Both, month, mouth, north, south, length, strength, truth, with. All right. And of course I have some comments. With these two words, I pronounced this G, letter G in here, as a K, almost as a K sound. So this is length, length, length. And this one is strength, strength. So the K is there for the G. So K, TH. Not all people pronounce the K in these two words, but many people do, and I am one of them that does pronounce it. So again, this is length, length, strength. And with this word, with, it can also be pronounced with the voiced TH sound. However, I don't pronounce it that way. Most Americans pronounce it with the voiceless TH, with, but it can be pronounced with the voiced TH. Let's go on and look at some words with the voiced TH sound. Let's practice words now with the voiced TH sound. The words in the first column have TH at the beginning of the word. The words in the second column have TH in the middle of the word. And the words in the third column have TH at the end of the word. Okay, please repeat these after me. Than, that, the, then, there, these, they, this, though. Okay, on to the second column. Please repeat. Although, another, clothing, rhythm, either, neither, mother, father, together. And please notice in this column that many of the words do end with T-H-E-R. T-H-E-R. Okay, so there are several like that. Also, with these two words, I pronounced this first vowel sound as E. Some people pronounce it as I, which is also correct. So you can choose to pronounce it whichever way you want. I pronounce these two words as either and neither. Some people pronounce them as either and neither. So again, you can choose your own pronunciation. Let's move on to the third column, and please repeat these words after me. Bathe, breathe, clothe, loathe, teethe. Notice that I do not have very many words ending with the voiced TH, with the th ending. I do have more than this, but I chose to just put these because these are more common words. Notice that each of these ends in the letters T-H-E. And as I said earlier, the letter E is silent in these words. Also, they are all verbs. If I take the E off of any of these, then the TH sound changes to the voiceless TH. So if I take the E off of this, it becomes bath. This would become breath. This would become cloth. This would become loath. And this would become teeth. However, I do have them up here with the letter E. These are all verbs, and they all have the voiced TH pronunciation. Let's move on to sentences. And now let's practice some sentences using these sounds. I'd like to practice saying some sentences now containing words with the two TH sounds. Please practice saying these sentences with me. The threatening throng through thumbtacks. The threatening throng through thumbtacks. The threatening throng through thumbtacks. It's a little bit hard to say, even for me sometimes. But let's go on to number 2. The thick thorn went through my throbbing thumb. The thick thorn went through my throbbing thumb. The thick thorn went through my throbbing thumb. Okay, now for number 3. My brother slathered lather on my father rather than my mother. My brother slathered lather on my father rather than my mother. My brother slathered lather on my father rather than my mother. Okay? I know the sentences are a little strange, but I wanted to use words with the TH sounds. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. I do appreciate it. I hope that you learned something from this video, and I hope that you will return and watch some of my other videos as well. If you would like more practice with the TH sounds, then please look at my word list videos. I do have other videos available there. I have at least one more video containing many words with the TH sounds, and in those videos you can simply listen to and practice saying the words. You don't have to listen to all of this extra explanation that I have. Those word list videos are simply lists of words and lists of phrases. I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you would like to be notified when I make other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.